All right. We are live, and I see some people have already joined us. So thank you for those who have just joined us. If you are new to this platform, the U10 is a platform that is empowering our communities through inspiring content, educational materials, as well as spotlighting some of the great work that our community members are doing to change the narrative of our, communities and our country sometimes. So if you just join us for this today, just share this conversation. We are speaking with all of you, and the topic today is on communication, the power of communication, the power of communication, or speaking with confidence and purpose. And we are joined by our great brother, mentor, educator, trainer, who is specialized in communication, to give us some tips on how to effectively deliver our, knowledge and wealth of experience in a way that resonate and connect with opportunities and people that we want to reach. So I will not go deeper to introduce him because Abraham will. And also, I'll be joined here by my co-host Dorcas Adish, and other U10 co-hosts may join the conversation. So they will be back and forth facilitating this work. If you have any question that you want our guest to address, Kuol Deng, put it in the comment section, and I will go ahead and ask that question on your behalf. So sit back, share the conversation, ask your question, and welcome, Paul. Thank you so much for joining us today as a special guest on this very important topic. I don't want to take away the shine from you. It's your day, so I want you to just brief our audience who are just joining. Some might have seen you, some might have not. If you can share a bit about your background, yourself, and why this topic of today is really of important to you and for the U10 discussion today. So take it away.
Wow, thank you so much, Kuol Philip and Dorcas. It's an honor being here today. I actually love what you guys are doing on UTAN, and I can say that I've been waiting to come here. And being here today, I think for me to introduce myself, most of the people, maybe if we have not met or you have not seen me, this is the day for you to see me, at least to maybe hear my voice. So today we are going to talk about a topic that is very controversial, a topic that is of interest to many people. So I'm not an expert in this, but I'm a learner of communication. And also, I can say that proudly that I am a teacher. And being a teacher means that there are things that you hold so dear to your heart. And one of them is communication, having you to speak with confidence. That's what we are going to look at. And how we can speak in confidence and actually link it with the purpose that you as an individual aspire to at least make a change in life. So that is basically why we are here, and it's an honor being here. So I actually don't want to take a lot of time, and thank you for that beautiful introduction. Cool. Thank you.
Well, shukran. And as always, teacher will always be teacher. Thank you for teaching us today. So we'll not dive into the questions, and I will go first, and then I'll throw it back to Adish. And if there are questions from audience, we will be adding. So we'll start on, the foundation of confidence. Let's begin there. I think all of us want to be confident and get to the work, and because and we are but I'm well kind of confident, but I'm not a thing, what are the foundation of confidence, because it's ongoing thing. If you know them and in confident will have been come by right. Them and well on there. So what comes to your mind, Kwalda, when you hear someone talk about confident speaking or speaking with confidence, or with purpose, like self-presentation when poised and at the level when better, yeah, what comes to your mind?
Okay. Okay. Communication and confidence, it's something that most of people fear. And it's a topic that when you touch, or for example, if you tell someone, just you have to do this presentation abruptly, someone will just fear on how they are going to do that, because when they think of being on the spotlight, most of people shy away from that. So when I look at confident, the word confident itself, I do think for you to be confident, there are three things that are in play. The first one, you have to understand yourself as an individual, your inner self. Like, for instance, you have to understand your thoughts, you have to understand your emotions. So, if you are in peace with yourself, your inner self, that means you are going to project the confidence that you need. Secondly, I believe that when I look at someone that is very confident, it's somebody that has the power to at least be concise with what they're saying. They have the power to at least be intentional. You know, communication and being confident, it's all about intentionality. So that is what I can say. So, as a confident person, the first thing is you have to understand yourself. Who are you as an individual? So that you can be able to project that to other people that are within your circle or the people that are in relationship with you. So that's what I can say about confidence and how you can be able to understand it. So it's something that starts within yourself.
Thank you. Thank you for that precise, description of that. And by you layer outside the topic a little bit. Well, but I'm confident when you are at peace with yourself. So maybe you can go a bit deeper. Yeah, and I really like the young because this is the area.
Okay.
So, what are some of the things that will be confident with yeah, or be enjoy at peace with yourself? If, for example, I'm to Ben on the U-turn today, but Ben Jam, and I'm shaky. What are some of the things that will come to your mind? Can you run? Who is a learner or a student of this thing? What will come to your mind? What has happened to her? Why is she shaking today? You can't only assume that I'll be maybe contributing to her not being speaking with confidence today. And are they temporary or are there something that are like permanently that someone is shy and you're good at speaking with confidence or public speaking or anything?
Okay. Uh, it's like a very huge way to put it. But what I can say is I always have an analogy of saying it, like the analogy of not a picture, sorry, a mirror. So if you look at a mirror, Paul, there are two things that are always in play. So, like for instance, if you look at me now, I look neat. This is what other people will look at. That Paul looks smart. So if I look in the mirror, this is what other people looks at. If I'm smart, if I have a big head, if I am not that handsome and all that, I'm too dark, my hair is not tall. Those kind of things are what make people feel like they are not worthy. They do not have that kind of importance. So they tend to have that low confidence. But what if you actually in yourself as an individual come in terms with you, how you feel about yourself, regardless of you not being beautiful, regardless of you not having a beautiful hair, regardless of you not having or thinking that you have the right skin that you should have, are you in content or in agreement with yourself? So that's where the confidence come. So a call, for instance, like me now being here with you, if I don't feel like my accent is something that I don't agree that I should speak like a call, that means I will not be confident. That means I will have to feel like I'm not doing well, you see. So it's just all about understanding yourself. It's all about understanding you as an individual and the nature that you have. And then projecting that to what other people will see. That's what I usually say. So, and the reason as why people fear it's because people think that someone is actually watching you and they are going to judge you. That is where the problem is. Yeah. So what I can say is that you just have to come in terms with yourself, your accent, whatever you feel like it's not right, you have to come in terms with it, and your confidence will just grow. It will just skyrocket.
Wow, wow. What I'm hearing, and I will give Dorcas to ask the next question before I can ask the question from our audience here, is that when you are authentic, when you don't have fear of judgment, when you are honest with the message that you carry, then you will not, you will not, your confidence will not be affected. So in Kemesin Piang, and I hope if you are in the comment section, that is your takeaway from this question is be yourself, trust in your abilities, trust in your capability, be authentic, be real, and don't care what people think, because you are valuable. What the information you have is important, and we all want to hear it. So thank you so much for that. Dorcas, can you go and ask the next question? And welcoming Alakir on board. Welcome, Alakir. Thanks for joining the conversation.
Okay, thank you for giving me another this chance to ask the second question. So, the second question that I want to ask is that why is it very important and essential to have confidence when you are speaking or when you are communicating to make sure that you stand out and convey really what you want to say, either in the school or in any leadership organization that you are in or anywhere or at work? Like why should we emphasize it and why is it important?
Okay, thank you for that question. I believe that is one of the questions that most of people will actually would like to hear. Uh, in this, the world is changing, Dorcas, and the world that we live in today is a world of information. It's a world of trying to network. So, for you to get the right information and for you to network, it means that you are supposed to possess that ability to communicate, to have that choice of words. Whenever you think of something, you can be able to express it in a way that somebody will actually understand, not just you speaking. Like, for instance, people actually, before there were time that my mind actually thinks faster compared to what I say. So that means I am going to have two conflicting ideas at the same time, that I'm trying to say something as I think. You see, and that will mess what you are going to say. So it is very important that you as an individual, that if you are looking for a job, if you are looking for a promotion, if you are looking, for instance, any opportunity, you have to understand that any word that you say, anything that you say will actually give you that privilege, that opportunity for you to network. And remember that I always say that networking is something that is very important in today's world. And you cannot network, you cannot understand other people's feelings and how they perceive life. Or in any case, you can never be able to change any person's point of view if you can communicate well. So it is something that is very essential for us to actually learn to communicate. It's not an option, it's a must. If you are a leader, if you are a student, if you think you are somebody that wants to change something in life, communication is a must. Yeah, that's what I can say. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Communication is a must. And and that's the reason we are here, by the way, of the U-turn platform, is really to express ourselves and to express, our learning, to express our experiences, and without communication, so I really believe
Definitely.
that communication, if you
Definitely.
want to do advocacy, like what we are doing, you have to know, how to convey that, and you have to practice with confidence, and reach out for mentorship and leadership to get there. So I really, really appreciate that. Alakir will go next, but there is one question from the audience that I really want to bring to your attention. My colleague all the way from Juba is asking, what would be your advice to me? Because when I address a gathering, I talk with confidence, but my voice is very low naturally. What can I do? And I know many people people will relate with this. And and you're hygiene, you know, Christian base because as a man, you are expected to have big voice, but now couldn't want to page it naturally. How do you handle this, by the way?
Okay, I'm going to give an example of what I did in during my time in school. There were times in Kakuma refugee camp that you for those who have been in Kakuma, they actually understand the situation there. If you go to a class to teach, you will find yourself that you are teaching over 100 students, even nearly to 200. You see, and as a teacher, there is this way that for you to reach someone at the back, you have to shout. You have to shout at the top of your voice so that that student at the back that is even playing, as they are even murmuring and talking, you have to let them feel what you're saying, and that becomes a waste of energy, a waste of time, and even students in most cases they will now have a lot of things to say because you are trying to shout. So there was this time I realized, why don't I actually uh, try to talk lower so that they can have that trial to listen to what I'm saying. So it is not necessary for you to always shout. The most important thing is that whatever you are communicating, are you intentional with it? Is it something that can draw attention from what other people are doing? So, and what I did was in the next lesson, because in the first lesson, I was like, nah, I'm not going to continue this way. So, in the next lesson, what I did was I just told them, okay, keep quiet. They were not listening. And then what I did was to actually reduce my volume almost to the lowest level. And then I realized something happened. The noise went out and they were trying to lean in to listen to what I'm trying to say. So, in most cases, if you want to actually capture the attention, don't focus about having to shout. Okay? Don't focus on that. Focus on the message that you are saying with confidence. But if you actually want to be that kind of person that talks a lot, what you can do is there are ways you have to train your voice. You have to train your voice, because I remember the first time I started talking, I wasn't talking this way. So but because I've been training my voice, I can speak loudly. I can also speak at a moderate voice. Uh, it's called monotone. If you have a monotone voice, that means your voice is at certain point. It doesn't go up, doesn't go down. And that voice, most of the time, it bores people. So you have to play with the voice. You have to learn how to be moderate, how to be low, and how to at least raise your voice on a scale of 1 to 10. You see? So it's something that you have to learn. There are techniques that you can be able to learn that. At some point, you just shout, "Rrrr, boop, 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 boop," so that you can be able to train the vocals that you have, because it's always about the vocals that you have. If you are someone that have a very low voice, you can train yourself on that. So it's just a matter of training and a matter of trying to be confident. Thank you for that question. I love it.
Thank you so much. First of all, I'm sorry for being late. Second, I'm one of those who has low voice. um, so I'm really excited to be here today and learn about how to speak with confidence and clearly convey your message without boring the audience and being relatable. And talking about teaching in Kakuma, it really takes me back. My dream was to teach biology in Kakuma Secondary. At the end, I decided not to go to the secondary, and I taught in elementary school. Even at elementary school, I still didn't feel confident. I was confident in my ability to master the subject matter that I was going to teach: science class 8, mathematics class 6, English class 7. But I was younger then, and if you do know, with
Kakuma, there are people much older, much deeper voice that are in class, and you have to really drive the point home with them. I did struggle with it. I stuck with it though for 1 year because I wanted the money, but I believe my message went across at some point. And I want to first ask you, confidence sounds a bit abstract. You only know when you see someone speaking with confidence. You don't really know how to practice. So, can we focus more on the practical of learning to present yourself with confidence, learning to present ideas with confidence? So, if I were to choose to teach biology in high school, and God, these men have so many deep and loud voices than me, how do I convey confidence? It doesn't necessarily have to be shouting like you just mentioned, but what are some practical ways of taking control of the audience and presenting with confidence? Thank you, Kual.
Wow, wow. I actually love the story that you brought up. Yeah, teaching in Kakuma, it's something that can actually drain you and it can actually help you on something in your life. Uh, it's good. Most of the time, you have said it very well that confidence is something that can be abstract. It depends with how you do it. And before you come in, we actually touched on something to do with that by actually saying that if you look at someone, like, how do you actually think about being confident? It's not something that you have to think about, it's something that you have to gain in the process of doing 1, 2, 3 until 10. It's a process, and that process have to start with yourself, your inner understanding of yourself. You understand yourself, Alakir, that you are someone that has a low voice. Now, how do you get contented with that low voice to a point that if you see Kuol shouting and is doing very well, that you don't feel you are lesser because Kuol has the voice, Kuol has the commanding voice compared to what you have. And that comes when you understand yourself. That's the first thing. And in most cases, confidence is something like, I remember there are times when you start something new. For instance, you have been given a chance to present. You will always feel that fear, that anxiety, that something is happening. But what confidence is, if you feel that you have that fear and you are in a position at least to do some practice. For instance, you can be able to breathe. You take a deep breath. People usually say that breathe so that you release the tension. That actually helps you to regain and pick from where you could have at least do go wrong. And that it's not a bad thing for you to feel the anxiety, but it's a bad thing for you if you don't know how to switch from the anxiety mode back to your confident mode. So for me, like growing up, I can say that I have not been that kind of a person that actually can be able to speak English. But through the process, I've been learning. I'm a good, I actually love reading books. That's where I can tell you. For you to gain confidence, first thing that you have to do, make sure you read books. There are two main things that reading books actually give you. The first thing is that you have to get ideas from other people. You have to get points of view from other people that contrasts with what you believe and what you know. And in most cases, there it will have to change your belief system. That if I think I cannot be able to speak, I can be able to speak because you have read in the book that someone was actually not able to speak well. So, and that is the reason as why I'm saying, Alakira, I actually like the way you put it. So, confidence is not necessarily something that you can be able to see, but it's a process of putting together things step by step. Even as we speak now, I can say that most of us, those who are here that are hosting, that are speaking here today, we are confident. But in the next 5 years, there's something that you are going to realize have changed. It's a process. So thank you for that.
Absolutely. I'm hearing acceptance. I need to accept my voices, and I think I'm there. I accept my voice is low, um, very soft sometimes, but I try to project. Breathing technique, I really like that idea. I'm a big, I'm big on believing in breathing and meditation. So it doesn't have to be 10, 15 hours, just three deep breath. Um, Deep breath to your stomach, to your chest, and then out through your mouth 3 times usually calms me and brings me back to base level. Whether I'm anxious, whether I'm afraid to cross the road, or any scenario. So I really do practice that. Um, well, the third one, I'm blanking here, but like one of my teachers told me that when you are presenting to the audience, they don't know what you're going to say. So that when you make a mistake, you just have to keep going and do not correct it immediately. So these are some techniques to get in control when you are having a conversation, because we go to school, we're taught how to present ideas, and you have a script. You have to write it down and then you know what you're going to present. But if it doesn't go according to the script, is one tip I just want to add there, and you miss a point, just go on with the next point. Make sure the point come back in the end naturally, so the conversation flows. But if you start to show, oh, you've messed up, you're showing other people you've really messed up, and it's probably going to ruin the conversation. So thank you so much, Paul. I am learning. I am excited for today's conversation. And if you are in the comments and also share the same excitement, please let Paul know through the comments, and we will continue with the conversation. Back to you, Akwal.
Yeah, okay,
No.
before Akwal says something, I actually want to add a point on what he just Lakir just said. In most cases, there is okay, on X. If you go to X, you'll find me in most cases there, trying to actually build my network and my communication skills. And we have a platform where we talk about confident communication space. And there are four things that we actually have to teach. The first thing is the pause. So that's what I wanted to mention. When, in most cases, when you stumble while speaking or you have made a mistake, you don't have to continue. You just have to take that pause, the silence, you know. So if you take that pause, it will fill the people in, and yourself, you will now have the opportunity to gather yourself and pick from where you could have made the mistakes. You see. So to mention the three that are remaining, I've just mentioned pausing. Pausing is the ability to give yourself time, that moment of silence. Second, you have power. How to project yourself. We have just discussed that. How do you project yourself? How do you understand yourself? That is now power. Then you have another one called the pace. In pacing, you will see or you will find someone that actually raise while they're speaking. That this is what I want to say, and I want you to understand. If you don't understand, this is what is going to happen, and all that. There is no pausing, there's no full stop, there's no comma. That is your pace, and you have to control it. You actually have to control your pace. Then there is what else? What else? What is it? I'm trying to. Yeah. So those are the things that, as a communicator, you have to understand. And if you make a mistake, they can help you regain your step. So thank you for saying that. I actually appreciate. So go, you can pick from there, Akua.
Yeah, no, and we learn a lot now. The pause, the power, and the pace. Tangde kucha wotu ya re no, like it. Now I'm grounded, so instead of Magda Bere, I have to, to be confident, I have to pause. and make my face something that show that I'm in control, not all over the place. So thank you for that. The next question is really very interesting, and many people in the comment section will like this. I know because they say many people confuse confidence with pride, and sometimes even me and the barat jam and everything is so charismatic, and we have so much arrogance. So how can we draw a line between someone speaking with confidence and someone speaking with arrogance and disrespect?
Okay, if you have to think about the two, that is the confidence and the pride or arrogance. Uh, they they seem the same, but they are not actually the same. So where you can be able to draw the line is in confidence. You are actually uplifting others. You're trying to help other people. How are you trying to help them? When you are actually bringing in change, or you are inspiring, or you are recommending how they can be able to take actions. So when you uplift others, that's confident. But for pride actually pulls people down, pull them down. That's pride. So that's how you can be able to draw the line in between the two. In confidence, you uplift. In pride, you do what? You pull people down. Pride is actually self centered. It's self centered, not like confidence. Confidence is about serving other people, trying to help others. But pride is about myself, what I can be able to do best, what I think I am capable that other people are not even seeing. Then you start blowing your own trumpet and all that, and people will be like, these guys have the pride. And that is one thing that we as South Sudanese youth have. Uh, I can say that I've gone to high school, I've gone to university, I have the PhDs and all that, but I am not able to show what I've learned in the process. What is the end result? But I'm saying this is what I know. I cannot be able to take a certain job because I think I'm overqualified. That is now pride. So you are pulling yourself down. But for you to be confident, I have the degree, I have the master. But now, what do you do to support that? What do you do to help other people? That is the line that I can be able to say. And that's how you know the difference. Thank you.
No, that's really very powerful. So basically, people just big and I don't know if you are in the comment section there. You have your own conclusion. Is that arrogance is when you speak down on others or elevate yourself too much to the level that even until we might can content that you're offering, then you are being arrogant. But being speaking with confidence is you have substance, you have a content. There is something that you are presenting, and you are not focusing on yourself. You are focusing on the delivery of the message that you are giving out. And so in by doing so, you end up elevating yourself and also others in the process, not necessarily talking down of people or blowing your trumpet as so well when you are not even connecting. So I see when you're speaking with confidence, you're connecting with people, you are building bridges. And that is the difference between when you are being proud and arrogant. So before when Dorcas go to ask the next question, Paraj, Dora, just a question. Would you recommend some of the books that help you in that line, especially in the communication line? Some of the books that boost your communication skills. Personally, I read like Brian Tracy books, and one of the books that helped me not really on communication, which I think it also contribute is maximum achievement, a more of leadership and success story. But it gave me some of these tools and skills that ground me, that help me speak with confidence, I guess. And I'm still learning and practicing to be more effective. But maybe, Kual, you can help your person some recommendation we can go in.
Okay. In the side of books, in most cases, I can't actually say that you have to stick to one reading. There's nothing like sticking to one part of reading. You can be able to actually, for instance, you can read on human behavior, you can read on psychology, and you can read on on the communication itself. Those are the things that actually make you understand communication. If you look at human behavior, the psychology stuff like that, it's all about people and how you can be able to relate and interrelate with people. There is this book that I love mostly. Like I just like the book. It's called. It's by somebody called. I think it's Carnegie, George Carnegie, Carnegie something Carnegie. It says you win friends, something to do with winning friends, and I don't know. Let me try to see the book itself if I have it here. So the yes is How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. How to Win Friends and Influence People. That is a very good book on communication. You can start from there. If you read that book, it will make you understand the difference between you, the difference between how you can be able to communicate and connect with other people. It's because communication is literally about connecting with others. It's not just about yourself. So that's where you can be able to start. And there's another one called The Art of Communication. It's another great book. It will help you to regulate your state fright. It will help you to become confident or even to be assertive in yourself. It will even help you on steps by step way of how to present. So the art of communication, it's just like a full version of a book that you can be able to read on that. So that's the recommendation that I can say. But always remember, you don't have to stick to one genre of reading. It's just a matter of reading many things. You know, before, for me, there were times I usually said, I don't like reading poetry. Poetry was something that I couldn't understand in most cases. In high school, there are some books that I could not understand because they were written in poetry. But in the process of trying to gather information, reading lots of books and that, I've now realized, in fact, poetry is the most important thing for you to understand because the language there is not for everybody. So, and so that's what I just wanted to say. So I'm being long. Thank you. It's the passion in me. Sorry.
No, no, you are doing good. You are doing good. Now you remind me of Alaki writing poetry again. I'm also afraid of reading poetry because now because I can read it. So with this conversation, I need to up my game. And Alaki, you need to publish your poetries. And Dorcas, go and ask the next question.
Okay, this is really amazing. Another question that I want to ask is that imagine that go alone and again. Most of the thing people will fear their parent, right? When go town, man ugly, man dark and all those things. Yes, young people mostly fear, and if you have that thing in your mind, you need to have that confident and well. So and also being misunderstood, lala, like we call alone and all those things. You need to check right. So you fear like me call alone people talking. Why is she very strong like this? Why is she very dark like this? Why is she? So the question is, how can you make sure they overcome such challenges and at the end, regardless of how they look like, regardless of how they will be misunderstood. So how do we really try to make sure that we still speak with confidence regardless of that? How do we overcome such?
Okay. If I actually understand you very well, it's about how people misunderstanding you and how you can be able to turn that around to a point that you can be able to stand firm on that and actually gain confidence in the process. Is that something that you are trying to say? Good.
Yeah,
So
sure, sure.
I don't know what is wrong with my light. It's misbehaving. So If there is one thing that I've come to learn is that people will always have a perception of what they think, not actually what there is, but what they think. So if people go into a conversation, there are always two sides of that person. The present type of that person, like the present me, you are able to see me. This is cool. But the person behind the present myself, the person behind the present me, like what I'm trying to say is, what did I do before coming here? Was I happy? Was I sad? Am I that kind of a person that does not appreciate? So there are two sides of a person in most cases. And when we go into conversation, those two things will always come in place. You might think you are talking to Kuol, but Kuol actually have a different perception, have a different side. You see, so that comes with misunderstanding, that comes with judgment. That whatever you say, I'm going to judge it based on what my experience are and what I want to believe. They always say that people will take what they want to believe, not what you are telling them. So if you understand that, you don't have to actually think somebody should understand you. No. But even you don't make a mistake of maybe trying to make someone understand you. Just say what you want to say, the way it is, with the confidence that you have. The understanding that they're going to take from there is predetermined for them, not you. But when we go when we go to conversations and maybe when we communicate, we always think that I want to make someone understand my viewpoint. This is what I think, and I want to make a call understand. And if I tell a call doesn't understand, I'll be like, this is what I want to say. So I'll have to repeat the same thing, yet not understanding that this is the perception that I have, and the other one is the perception that a calls has. So to summarize on that, you don't have to worry about other people misunderstanding you, maybe judging you and stuff like that. What you have to understand is you as an individual. Are you in terms with yourself? Are you okay with being misunderstood? That's the most important thing. If someone misunderstands you, who cares? That's to them. That's because of what they perceive is right. And for you, you are okay, I'm okay as Kuol, so I don't care. So we don't have to worry about being understood, but we just have to worry about being intentional and confident with what we are trying to say. If you want to tell someone, for instance, your friend that is always violating you, that our friends in most cases they don't know that they are violating the friendship. Because I remember there was this time we were coming from the school with one of my colleagues, a very good friend of mine. And then there was a rule that we put across that we have to stay in school because we are teaching the upper classes, the Form 3s and Form 4. So that means we have to stay there until 5. It's a rule that we set together. But when it comes at 3, this friend of mine will be like, nah, cool, let's just get out. Then one time I was like, bro, why is it that it's you that is always not respecting me or not respecting the rule that we have put together, put in place? And actually, the guy took some time to think about it and he was like, anyway, it's not about me disrespecting you, but I just feel like this is extra work. And I was like, no, a rule is a rule. A rule is a rule that we are supposed to live here at 5, regardless. So, but you as my friend, if you feel like this is a kind of not a bad thing, it's not a good thing, then we can see how we can be able to do that. So, what I'm trying to say is people will always have their own way of interpreting things. But you as an individual, if you have that rule, it's for yourself. Set it. If they don't agree, just tell them this is not what we discussed on. and see how they will react to that. Yeah.
Okay. Uh, Thank you. I think I'm going to ask the next question without taking too much time. So let's switch gears from the verbal, what you say, to the nonverbal communication. Um, what is the role of body language, and other things you need to do to look presentable for different speaking engagements, such as job interviews, uh, presenting to a public, like public speaking, say you're at a conference. What are some things you need to do besides preparing what you're going to say? And then while you are delivering conversation, what are some body language to be aware and mindful of?
Wow. I love the question. In communication, it's basically almost 70% non-verbal compared to the wordings that we always say. What I mean is, uh, whatever we say is just 30% of what we are not supposed to say. And what I meant by that is the non-verbal part of communication is all about your posture. How do you present yourself? Are you that kind of a person that kind of sits upright, like what Akol is doing now? Or are you that kind of a person that actually sits like this? Or you just close your shoulders together and maybe be like that? So that means if you are upright, your shoulders are always on the same level, not trying to shake and things like that. That portrays confidence and attention, right? But if you are this kind of a person that looks like this, you're seated like that, it's as a way that it communicates something. Even how you use your hands. You know, it's not about just using your hands and all that. No, you have to control. You have to control the way you use your hands. When you are making a point, there's a way you can be able to make the point with your hands, right? Or even the way you move, for instance, the way you just said, like you are in a conference. So somebody will just stay in one point and they are communicating or talking. That will actually affect your tone. You know, tonality, it's always about the energy that you give. So if you start moving around, then you can be able to control your tone rather than just staying in one place. Like if I just sit like this and talk, my tone will actually change because there is no energy in it. But if I get myself free, that means I'm going to have a different tonality to what I'm saying, and that will draw people in. So in on stage, you have to at least keep moving. You don't have to just stay fixed in the center like what people say. You are giving the center the podium and stuff like that, and you just stay there. No, move close to people. Have what we call the bakoya wenyin yani. Unajua bakoya wenyin, the eye contact. But eye contact is not like, growing up, we were told when you are listening to the elders, you don't have to look them straight in the eye. Yeah, that's a sign of disrespect. But in communication, you have to. You don't have, okay, you don't have to actually look in somebody in the eye for maybe the whole 1 minute. No, you have to look and you break. You look and break. Ache barano ingin baja ingin kirban direct. No. So that's another thing that people have to understand. It's a non-verbal way of communication. Even what Akwal is doing now, she's nodding. That's another way, nodding. Like if somebody says something, you agree or you disagree. But in most cases in communication, you don't have to always do this, do that. It shows like, maybe you're not interested. You like the West, like what the West say, mostly, even if you are not listening, you just nod. Yeah, you are not listening, but you are nodding. That is what those are what we call the non-verbal way of communication, and that is majority, or let's say that is the 70% part of what communication is. So it's something that we actually have to look closer into, not just the words that we say. Yeah, yeah.
Wow, wow, wow. That's very powerful. And, knowing that it's 70%, so work on being, now can we learn, can you do it to do that? And I know not a lot because I think you're bulleting them, but the truth is you have to show that you are listening. And you have to also because I contact Biden Pantan Center in the West, if you don't know. But if na Pan Africa, unity, go yin yin thinking for you feminist. Alright. So you have to work according to to be in thin. But of course, I can go where by our present. You have to be present, and you have to do so many things like dressing up, moving, gestures, everything. I very important for communication. And personally, I like energy. So in our communication, energy, and that when you say don't be fixed, energy, that is true. I really love you being able to share your energy because at the end of the day, to connect people, energy is how we connect. Can we connect? Sometimes message jala venting to complete the connection, but being energetic, being happy and intentional, nature emphasize is very important. I really appreciate you for sharing that. If you have any question into our audience, please put it there. We will ask. We are talking about how to, even in Iran, how to speak with confidence. And we believe that communication is a powerful tool when they begin to advance in life and to grow as a person. The first thing you got being a jam. And jam is everything. And we have to learn, and especially if the communication in different contexts, man, we're working in English, and we have to learn. Yeah, confident in to English. And I'm quite an expert of confident to English, but I never to English sometimes. I'm humble. So I'm learning how to be confident in different language, in different setting, in different environments. And that's why this conversation today on the U-turn is important, because we hope that our educator, our guest today, will give us some tools when we work out grounded in what we do and in our personal life. And that is the purpose of the U-turn, for you to make a U-turn in your own life. And use communication, get powerful tool being not advanced. The next question is really, really important to me. It's about storytelling. So I am really a fan of storytelling, and in a very conversation, in a very thing, yeah, and well, I have to put myself in it somehow to do stories. So, Kwalda, if you can tell us, you can share some of ideas on how we can, use storytelling to make ideas more powerful and even convincing from your experience, that would be amazing.
Okay. Thank you for that. I'm trying to think because storytelling is something that has actually been there for lots of time. In fact, in the beginning of time, storytelling has been there, and it has been a way of actually passing down information for generation. And the good thing about storytelling is that it actually connects with the soul and the emotions, because they are always in stories. There are always those kind of characters that has different ways, like they have different characters. Someone, maybe it's the villain, the other one seem to be the good person. So storytelling, in fact, for those who communicate through storytelling, those are the kind of people that actually have to move a lot of people. Not like just communicating through what you think people should know, but stories are what has happened in the past, or what are already happening in the present, and they have lessons that people can be able to learn from. uh, what I was thinking was I wanted to share something, because there were time in the in Kakuma. I'm going to say in Kakuma still, because I've taught in Kakuma for over 7 years. So I have students that are even now in the university that have actually passed through me. And there was this time in my teaching journey. In fact, there were times that I rose from just being a normal teacher to something having a very good, let's say, a kind of a good role where you can be able to feel like you have achieved something in life. So the role comes in when education was transforming from the normal one that we actually knew, that was the 844 system, to the what we have currently, which is CBC, competency based curriculum, where students were now divided into kind of, let's say there is the junior secondary school and the senior secondary school. So in junior secondary school, there were times I found myself doing recruitment for teachers. And what actually struck me was that in the applicants, one of my former teachers, the guy that taught me in class three, primary three, actually came to get a job in teaching. So I was seated like here, and he came, he was on the other side. I recognized the guy, but he did not kind of recognize me because I was young by that time, and children actually have very keen eye. So I recognized him, and I knew this was my English teacher. But when I was looking at him, there was something that I felt, the feeling that actually being a teacher is kind of a gift, but it's like a kind of a detention at some point. Like if you look at it in way of trying to make it in life, if someone that taught me in standard three is still looking for chances to become a teacher, looking at how he's dressed, is not well presented. The guy is a good presentation of just, let's say, being vulnerable. And for someone like me that has ambitions, I was like, wow, I was seeing myself in him. Like, if I continue with this, if I continue being a teacher, in the next 20 years, what will happen to me? In fact, I was seeing myself in him. That was the position that I was going to take if I continue with this. Because, okay, teaching, like the way Alakir said earlier, teaching, it's a noble calling, but it doesn't pay well. And we are actually, as human beings, we are actually looking for ways of how, if you have responsibilities, you actually have to look for a way of how you can be able to provide for your family. So looking at that teacher, I was like, nah, with my responsibilities and the ambitions that I have, I was like, nah, I couldn't be like that. So, and that changed the way I perceive teaching in the classroom. So I was like, no, I'm not going to be a teacher in classroom anymore. I'm going to be a teacher outside because I actually need to get something better. So that was a story that actually changed my life. So after about 6 months, I sat down and I wrote my resignation letter. I was like, I'm done with teaching, man. I can't be like this because I was like, nah, this is not a life for me. So, and that's where I was like, teaching, stay there. But I'm not trying to say don't teach. Teach. It is the most important thing that you can be able to do as an individual. In fact, if you are that person that is pursuing to be confident and to be able to communicate well, teach. Then later, you can be able to divert to any other sector that you need. So, I think I've just said a story there. And if you look at that story, a good storyteller knows the pattern of how the story flows and trying to put in the emotions. That's what I was trying to do, put in the emotions that I can be able to drive somebody to feel what I was feeling by that time, to see the picture of what was happening at that time. And also, there was an information that I've left out about painting a proper picture of the dress code and all the things. Because, okay, it's something not, I couldn't say that because he was my teacher and I cannot say like the way he was dressed and stuff like that. So storytelling is a very good way of painting a picture that someone have to see this is what was happening, invoking the emotions that you actually want people to feel and inspiring change. That's what I just did. I'll probably have maybe inspire someone that teaching it's a good thing, but if you have big responsibilities, my brother, thank you.
Wow, wow, wow. No, that's really very powerful. And to be honest, yeah, people are clapping. I see that Bull Daniel here clapping because he has learned one thing. I learned too personally. I know that is the power of storytelling. And it's really in everything you do in your profession. It doesn't matter where you go. Tell a story and align it with the message to Loy Pass. And that is what Kual has done. And I really appreciate you demonstrating in real time how that works. I was able to imagine that teacher and how it feels. And if I remember some of my teachers there on Keto in that situation, and I'm doing RAS right now. And think about, so it brings in a lot of emotion, a lot of memories and everything. And that message is very powerful. Teaching is a good cause. What we are doing here is teaching, right? And it's also a message to policymakers. If we want to teach the next generation of people, we need to compensate, the profession really well so that, you know, uh, our educators don't have to leave the profession because of the negligence it happened wherever they are. So thank you for that. Dorcas, go for the next question.
Yeah, it is really educative and surely learning. Just to make comment before I ask the question, especially on the side of the tune and the tone and Mama.
We can't hear you.
So one time we were talking about discussing about communication, and we were told to watch the speech of Martin Luther. Like if you see that speech where he say that one time, right? That speech, the tones and the body language. So and I think even up to now, I don't think if there's a leader that can convey a message in that tone. Maybe it could be the message was for liberation, and there's no that pressure or that piercing matter like that. But if you just listen to the voice before when the message, it is really amazing, and I think that's the power of communication. And even today we can see communication is now a part of life. Like imagine a call you want to pitch, like you want to pitch your idea. You don't know how to really convey the message very well. It cannot really work. So you have to what? You have to know your audience. What do they want? Let me say you are pitching to the those that are going to pan your idea. If you cannot convince them, and that's communication, it cannot really work. So I think it is one of the things that we really need to do as we talk right now. So I don't know. Are we in which question? Is it number 6 or
You can
okay?
ask
Yeah,
question number 8. Yeah.
number 8. Yes. Okay. Um. So I think we haven't touched it at some point somewhere. Is that what are the communication mistakes that we usually do? Yes, that when we are communicating, or maybe say we are pitching the idea, or you are presenting somewhere and you are a leader. So what are those common mistakes that we usually do, and how do we avoid them? Like what do we do to avoid them? Does it need kind of preparation, or like what do we do?
Okay, thank you, Dorcas, for that question. What I think in most cases, yes, there are mistakes that we do when communicating. The first mistake that I've seen a lot of people do is, and that is through the experience that I've had as a teacher. When you teach, you can, for instance, when you're teaching algebra, you don't have to start with the complex part of algebra. you have to start with A plus B is equals to A plus B. You can't start with something that is very complex. So, what I'm trying to say there is when you are communicating, always communicate in a level that someone without prior knowledge or someone that have never come across the content that you are talking about, you teach them as a child. They always say that if you want to say something, teach it with a beginner mindset. That's what they say. So one mistake that people have is assuming. They assume that you already know, so they go to the conclusion, or they start in the middle of what they wanted to say. So communication is all about hitting home, saying something to a point that somebody will have to understand. And that means you have to start with the basics. You don't have to start with the most complex part of it. The second thing is yeah, most cases you will find preparation. People don't prepare. People assume that they already know. And if you assume that you already know and you are going to communicate, there it's a mistake. So you have to get prepared. There's nobody born as an expert, like the way you said. That speech of I Have a Dream by Martin Luther King, he had prepared on that on several occasions. And now people say that that is one of the best speech, or Martin Luther King is one of the best orators ever born. Why? Because he had to prepare before he get to present. So that is the second one. The third mistake that people mostly do is listening. People don't listen. And that, in fact, that should be the first one. People don't listen. People listen with the intent to reply, not to understand, right? So, like when you are talking to someone, you are having a conversation. Uh, a call will talk, and I'll be like, "Yeah, I had a very good idea. I think this idea, a call will like this idea." So I'm thinking about the response, but not what a call is saying. You get what I'm trying to say? So the intent there was to actually impress a call, to actually reply, but not to understand. So we have to always listen to understand before we make that comment that we want to make. It's not always about, yeah, you might have the very bright idea that you want to say, but it doesn't fit, you see. So those are the three main mistakes that I can say always, those three main ones. And then lastly, the intent. The intent. When you communicate, you have to be intentional with what you want to say. Period. There's nothing else. If you are not intentional, don't say that. Yeah. And those are the mistakes that people say most of the time. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Danye. You have really digested it and really answered it well. So, yeah, those are the common one, by the way. And the fact remain that actually I'm perfect in everything. So, it just mean the change really it's just about giving yourself a silent, or you post on something, you realize that Ajalwela and it's not something good you post, then you change the direction, because that's part of human, something that we have to accept, that we live with it every time, that we make mistake and we just always have to correct it. So I think for us, like that's why I hear that always need that are available anywhere they need to present themselves, you need to pitch, you need to do what. So that's what you can just keep in mind. You make a mistake, you pause, then you what? You start again and you continue. So it is about learning and correcting yourself every time. So at this time I'm going to give Alak here to ask the next question.
Thank you so much. Okay, I'm gonna take a lot of time. I like talking. So here goes. I'm going to talk about the teaching profession. That it's so. If you ever taught as a person, whether in school or outside, you know you'll always be a teacher, and this comes from your own what teaching has had as an impact on yourself. When I was in class 7, we did, if anybody knows Kadugli Primary School, it was 844 system by then. The last exam, last term in class 7, it's a big deal. Like, it's really a big deal. You are this close to doing the KCPE. So I got sick and didn't do well on the last exam. I actually missed like one of them, and so there were seven, was there 7 courses, and then I missed one of them, so I did 6. So I did not pass. It's natural I did not pass to go to class 8, but I was very sad. My friends, my cousin that we grew up together, we started class 1 together, they're all gonna go to class 8. I'm gonna be left behind, essentially frustrated. um, so that's when my cousin, she said, okay, we're going to talk to the headmaster. And if the headmaster doesn't understand what happened, we are going to talk to the regional, I don't know if it's called regional director. So there's somebody in charge of different schools. So if it's zone 1, zone 2, there's somebody there in charge. We went, talked to the headmaster. He said, I don't set the rules, I just follow them, and I cannot really add someone else when we have the numbers. There's always a number that has to go to class 8 because you're given a number by the National Examination Council. So you can't really increase them, right? So we went again. She so what I'm trying to say is she really believed in me that I had the ability to do the KCP exam and pass, and I had the knowledge, and I had the what it takes. It just unfortunate occurrence that happened during the exam. Long story short, I was able to get into the class 8. And then something else happened. I was studying, minding my business, and the class monitor. We had a class monitor, it's a class representative, comes and say, "Hey, Alakir, you are being summoned by the teachers. You need to go to the office right now." And man, I don't like pain. This thing of being beaten in school, I'm literally shaking at this point. I'm like, what did I do now? Why does it have to be today for me to be punished? So I'm going, tears welling up in my eyes, walking slowly. I reach the desk of the teacher, and usually you're told to kneel down if you've done something wrong, to wait for your punishment. So I touch the desk, I am kneeling down, and the teacher's like, no, 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 do not kneel down. I'm like, what do you mean? I have to kneel down. That's how things are done. I'm so afraid. So these two teachers are the temporary teachers. They were waiting to move on, go to pursue their higher education. Said, "You, Alakir, we believe you have what it takes to do really well in school, and you need to not get distracted. You know, young girls get distracted, end up being married, teenage pregnancy, blah blah blah. But we believe you can do it, right? Make sure you study well, take your time, and you will be well on your way to, achieving your dreams if education is something you take seriously." I didn't know what to say. I was speechless. I don't remember what I said then. I was so emotional. So I went back to class. Fast forward to end of the year 2010. We do the KCPE. I failed. So I didn't get 250. I got 200, and I'm not gonna say it. But anywho, the idea is the passing mark is 250, the total mark is 500. So because the education is so challenging for girls and women, they made a leeway to have girls admitted if they have had 200. If you reach 200 marks, you are the cutoff to go to high school. So I ended up going to high school, and it happened again. I was in Form 4, almost done with school. My math teacher, Abel Bichanga, he's from Kisii people of Kenya. That man, I have respect for him, as I do for all my teachers. I went to hand in my assignment so he can mark it. It's one of those algebra, very um, borderline calculus, right, in Form 4. And he said, you know what, you can really get a B in KCSE and actually go get a scholarship. Back then there were two. There's Daffy, there's was well known, there are others. But I hadn't thought and I hadn't been fully confident about that until that moment when the teacher that I look up to so much said something about me that I hadn't believed in it. So I'm saying this to say teaching is something that impact lives in so many ways. And this is also related to the next question I'm going to ask. If you are a teacher and you have the opportunity to empower a young mind, you have an opportunity to tell them you believe in their ability to do well in school and in life, just know you're putting somebody on the right path. And it had happened for me. So shout out to all the teachers I taught with. Usas Gong, anybody that's a teacher there, I my hands up to you. You're doing an amazing job. Keep molding the minds. It's rewarding, maybe not through money, but you will be satisfied with your life if you are a teacher and you chose that is your calling and it's your profession. That's not me. I'm not teaching right now. I chose the money. So the question is, um, how can um, how can speaking with confidence help youth access opportunities? And some opportunities that are listed are jobs, scholarships, both locally and internationally. So, Kual, I'm going to give you the floor and the opportunity to speak now. Sorry for taking so much time. Thank you.
Wow. First of all, I would like to appreciate what you just did. That is the power of storytelling. So, in fact, I've just realized you are a very good storyteller, and we were all drawn in. We have listened from the beginning to the end without getting bored. So, that is how you are supposed to structure that. We have done it very well. So, I love that. Thank you for that. Coming to using your voice as a communicator to actually get opportunities in life, it's something that is always it has something to do with the purpose that you have defined for yourself. Like, for instance, if you, for those who usually go to Canada, like you have gone to school, you have passed very well, you apply for WOSC, for you to go for that interview, you actually has to tell me as the interviewer about the purpose that you have envisioned yourself. What ambitions do you have? So, as a communicator, as someone that needs to be confident, first thing you have to find the purpose of why you are doing what you want to do. Is it something that someone just tell you that you are supposed to do a medicine because somebody will call you a doctor? Or is it something that is deeply rooted in you that you want to do? And that's where communication come in. Like if you have a purpose that is driving you towards that end, automatically with communication, you can be able to assess any opportunity that you need. Like I think was it 3 years ago when I joined X, formerly known as Twitter, right? So I went there with the purpose of making friends. You know, we are used to Facebook as South Sudanese mostly. And we know what we actually get from Facebook is to connect you with your friends, those that you have known in the past and they have went somewhere else, and to connect with new friends. So I went there on X to actually get new friends. But that changed because X it's a platform that is meant not for getting friends. I'm telling you guys, it's a platform that is meant for sharing ideas that make impacts. Those ideas that can change the world. I'm telling you, on X, you can't go there with your pictures, you are looking cute and all that. No, it's all about what you have in the mind. It's all about the driving factor of your being. If you go there with that, you can be able to get the right people. So going on X, my friends, I'm telling you, uh, I stumbled upon uh, a space called Confident Speaking Space. And I was like, let me listen here. I went, I joined, and then I was just listening. People were actually from all over the world. The host from US, the co-host from Canada, everybody's from US. Like you have people, native English speakers, those guys are there. They're making mistakes. And even people from the Arab world, people from Asia are all there making mistakes with the aim of doing what? With the aim of becoming confident. So at that point, and having known that I'm that kind of a guy that actually is always drifting towards becoming confident, towards be able to express himself very well, for someone to understand what he's actually trying to say, I was drawn in. And when given the opportunity to speak, I'm telling you, I spoke very well. People knowing that, number one, my story, having been someone that is coming from South Sudan, a country that is war torn, having lived in a refugee camp for over 25 years. So that was now the story that I have. Then I was in a position to project it using my own voice, trying to make sure as I do so, I am confident. So, what I'm trying to say there is when you want to speak confidently or when you want to win something, to get an opportunity, it's always about your story. It's always about what your voice can do for you, right? So, to wrap it up, getting opportunities is something that is always purpose driven, and that is what the scholars are looking at for the students. If you want to get an opportunity to go somewhere else, to go for a school, to get a scholarship and stuff like that, you have to tell that unique story that you have, that purpose that you are looking to achieve. The interviewer will see that and you will get the opportunity. If you are looking for funds, okay, I remember, I think when we get time, there are times we are going to talk about my journey as a farmer. You can just look someone. I am a teacher, transforming to be a communicator, and also what? A farmer. Like I'm a full-time farmer. And the way I got myself as a farmer, it's another story that has a different purpose, but it was now connected with my ability to communicate confidently. So I got the right people, communicated at the right time. Then what happened? Boom. That is the dream. Yeah. So uh, for you to connect, for you to get the opportunity, for you to get that, to influence the people to at least vote for you to be the chairperson of TEA, be the chairperson of BYC, what the Borough Community Youth Association. What you have to do is to attach the purpose, drive that purpose that you want other people to do, connect it with communication. Without no time, there you go. So I believe I've answered your question, and I've talked a lot, but that is what that's what I'm feeling for now. Just to, and if you have actually maybe noticed something, it's the ability when you speak. There's a way. There's one of my mentors, and that is one thing that I'm going to tell you guys. You are supposed to have a mentor in everything. You have a financial mentor, you have a communication mentor, you have a life mentor, someone that is going to mentor you in terms of relationships and stuff. A mentor is not just like the way our people think, like, well, if I'm a communicator, I can be able to mentor you on everything. No, I can communicate. I can only mentor you on communication. Then look for someone that can mentor you in how you can tackle your relationships. Mentors are good people, I'm telling you. They are people that are actually trying to lift people to bring them where they are. You don't just look for people that are not doing shit. You look for people that are actually doing what they are doing, right? Then you attach yourself to that person. They will actually walk you through. They will do that for you. They will help you. So that is what I can say. And communication, it's a great deal. I'm telling you, it's a great deal. There's
Actually,
nothing. It's a great deal. Yeah.
I really like how you make it so big. Like I have need Taisa in the area of farming, but then I really love how you say you were communicating right thing at the right time with the right people, and then boom, that boom part makes sense. Then you got a farm, and now you are farming and you are selling, and I really want to be like you. I see myself retiring into farming, and that is my next U-turn. So we'll talk about her after this, or maybe during the next conversation. But what I am taking away is that being able to communicate really well and sell yourself to people, sell your ideas to people, sell your experiences can open doors for you. It can connect you to right opportunities, right people, and give you the leverage to win those opportunities. Like you have seen how Kual actually shared his own experience of communicating, and where bay. So na ja wer wen ci wer dala be wer wen le ri to be in the opportunity for you think and so jam appears and self promotion appears. So that takes me to the next question really about and I'm a fan, I'm an advocate of self promotion. I know in our culture, Bakuru promote traditionally is something that is valued, and I think very last in our last show that im na ira an pan jeng gini nyan tin dira red in mang dan or ina chak dier or ina yura red or ina mi or dur mariar or lut kuja promote ke yin ke dit ke ya red and people love you for that. But im na ira an about confidence, communication, leadership, and degrees or scholarship ku ye kalwe red ke in arrogant in proud in our people no there's negative association tied to you know marketing a formal life which is western, which I really understand because it's the fight between the tradition and the modern ways of knowing, which there are issues there. So Kwada, the next question is now, how can youth and if someone like me who want to self promote my ideas, promote my thought, promote whatever opportunities I have. So how can someone balance our humility with self promotion, right? And when sharing their achievements or opportunities or experiences with the public, knowing that our communities talk I polarize from the perspective they share that when you come well, read but when you keep quiet, you miss out. So how can we balance that?
Wow. You know, I usually tell people like, be the change that you need. Be the change that you need. That is like my slogan because there are things that we see and we actually feel like it's not actually working the way it is. But if we don't take the initiative, it cannot be changed, right? So, being the change that you need, it's actually something that we have to explore. And the way we can explore that is we are in a world that promotes, let's say it's not even promoting, but it rewards networking. Okay? It rewards networking. Very good networkers, people that really understand how to network, are the people that are enjoying life in this life, right? So, for us to know the difference between humility, if you look at it, it's always about, let me just say, being down to earth, having that feel of being meek, right? But uh, in relation with how you can talk about yourself in this world, in this social, for instance, I'm going to give an example of social media right recently. Social media is all about branding. It's all about branding. And personal brand, it's the picture of Kuol. What does Kuol portrays? Right. So whatever I portray, that becomes my image. And if I don't take it seriously, then people will look at me like someone that is lousy in talking, someone that is, I don't know, that ran, say, "Tok du te wel ke luel ga ga luel che den chen ke taten." But if I actually get intentional with what I put out on social media, that becomes my brand. People that are going in that direction will actually appreciate what I'm doing. Now, the difference come in whereby you don't create that image that you want people to see, and you think you have the image to a point you start boasting about it. You think about like you want to be a communicator, you're talking about self-communicate, confident communication, but in real sense, you don't communicate. You don't even say anything confidently. And when I say that, it doesn't mean like, okay, yeah, you're not talking work, okay? A little bit, Equal jam English, yes, but English de ache kegel chumulo ni mo America yen. Are you getting? But that doesn't make sense. It doesn't matter. As long as in communication, it's always about the message. Is the message clear? Not about how I will say it. Yes, I understand. Call people sometimes foolish. Sometimes a little foolish. You see, but you understand the point. It's not about how I will actually banelwel British or my US, right? So humility comes in when you have actually become authentic with your brand. As U-turn, we know U-turn is trying to challenge the normal norms that we have seen happen in in South Sudan or in our African communities where women have been treated in a certain way, and how we as individuals of this world right now are trying to make something new out of what we have been accustomed to or what we have known, right? So Natiran U-turn, sorry, Kabinyi U-turn is doing that. So U-turn has been given the brand. But na U-turn yelwel kenega yuguloy kwachike loy nyuma loy gegene, then there's conflict in between. So boosting becomes a negative to your self-image, which is now the humility that you have. Who, you know, koji pay sometime I jam sometime kogi kelwela ya ke gam, you know. The character that you have will actually take you where education will not. Character. Character, it's something to do with your humility. I ran in no yes, but in wide even a chirana chilebini. A che mas bajama red balwell can nye bakreban parnum and stuff like that. No. It's all about, are you doing what you said you should do? Are you showing people the real thing, like what U-turn is doing? Is U-turn actually doing what they say they should do? Like, take and call Aloran my Facebook page, you will see a lot of things, but it's always on three. Whatever I do, it's always three. Number one, an educator. Number two, passionate about communication. Number three, purpose-driven change. Be the change you need. Kapipan ke kabange jamtin. Ala brand you cool to care let go live, one let go like the way people are doing now. Then it's a violation to my humility. It's a violation to the image that I'm trying to to sell to people my brand. So I think Incha answered, and that's how I perceive that. Thank you for listening.
No, I really appreciate that. Is very solid answer, and many people in the comment section also agree. They are liking your ideas about how to really balance self promotion with humility, how to balance sharing your perspective, your ideas, and also being humble about them. And my main takeaway personally is you have to alignment. You have to align your message with your character, with who you are, right? Not just bajam, 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 but you cannot show, right? You have to back up what you say. And it's like saying, well, I'm not good. In reality, I kind of good in ran mangar. So what you could be
Until the generation.
yeah, so I really appreciate that. And I know what, yeah, over time, this is supposed to took 90 minutes, but if you still have few minutes, can ask question about this. And I know there are so many other questions in the comment section of Google. Ben, at the time you can respond to them directly when I can direct it to you. And we at the youth will also moderate the comments, so we'll go and respond and answer some of those questions. Can time take allow book teach on the screen. In idea and then to our show, we're talking about the power of communication and how to speak with confidence and with purpose. We in a conversation, Louis, our brother educator, farmer, and mentor call Louis and walk guide through today. So I will give this last opportunity for you to ladies to reflect, and then I'll be Kuala conclude with his U-turn message. So Kuala, before being in jail, why all these conversations you just pack it to one message. If someone was listening to this conversation or is going to listen to this conversation, maybe a young person, a woman, a policymaker, educator, a community leader, one message the big long thing, big layer. So about God knowing indoor cast. You have listened to all these great ideas. You can share your own experience. Can you share in 1 minute your U-turn message? What is your main takeaway from Kachaga Ping Nong for Kakunyi and through your education that our audience will benefit today? And if you are in the comment section, you can say share your U-turn message in the comments. So take it away, Dorcas, and then that after you, Lakira Block, and then Bikual Jabe will conclude with his final U-turn message to all our audience from different backgrounds. So take it away, Dorcas.
Okay, I will summarize it just very short so that don't fear to make mistake. That's what I've added today, and the fact remain that mistake are part of us, and it's something that we have to accept that it's part of us, and we have to grow with it. So when we are communicating, we have to pause right and change the direction as I realize you have gone somewhere. Then the tone of what you're speaking and what your audience wants, right? If I'm speaking about leadership, let me say about confidence like now. So you can imagine what will your audience learn about confidence, even you yourself, right? If you are the one to listen, what will you really love? So that's it. Another thing is that our body language. So it really speaks a lot on how you dress. One of our teachers really tell us that even though you are going for a presentation with your supervisor or what, make sure you dress well. Yes, because we are practicing how you are going to present out there in the world. Even though it is online, make sure you dress well and feel free. And another thing is that when you are talking, like don't assume like we have listened to that. You ask, are you meaning this? Are you meaning that? Do you mean this? Because we may assume something when it is not exactly what is being conveyed there. So for me, is that don't fear make mistake. Don't bother about how people really perceive you, and it is the work is about your inner you. Yes, if you still have problems how you see yourself on a mirror, like you feel bad, I'm not this, I'm not that, then it's something that you need to really tell yourself, this is good, this is you, no one can be like you like this, and you have to agree it. Yes, when you are okay with that, you are okay with everything.
Well, we've come to the end. I'm just gonna say a quick message, which is always have an intent. My background is in marketing, and marketing involve a lot of communication. But the one thing you have to do is tell people what to do with the information you just gave them. In our storytelling, traditional education context, you tell the story and let people draw their own conclusion. That's not the same thing when it's something you want to deliver a value. So, Kukorbaloi, whether you are speaking in an interview, in jam at the presentation in the conference, why do people have to listen to you? If you have to post on Facebook, what do you want? What is the results you are aiming for, right? And I always lean towards adding value. And you don't add value if you're not aligned with the purpose, like Akwal has said. What do you think is your purpose on Twitter? What is your purpose on Facebook? Does that align with your overall purpose and goals in life? Are you posting something that add values to someone's life, right? Are you posting something that could incite violence? So I always want to remind our people who are on social media to be very intentional when you are posting something that may not be harmful to you but could potentially be taken out of context and cause a lot of problems. You need to be mindful of that. And that's why at UTAN we are focusing on grassroots advocacy and grassroots mentorship. Systems are always system. Things will go wrong or go right, but being advocate of doom, oh, this has gone wrong, and this is the person to blame. Big complex problems don't have simple, solutions or simple or one person to blame. Systematic issues have several things interacting, and I just want to make sure that if you are on social media, you are interested in different things, could be economic, politic, blah, 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 and you find one person to blame, I don't believe you really looked at the issue carefully and found the issue. So at the U-turn, we shift from, Jong Jong Kadirka to you. Yiran Benetton today. What can you do to improve your own outcome? Economy can be good, can be bad. Politicians can be favorable, unfavorable. But what can you do as a person to strive towards your goals, your objective, your actions? Your bills getting paid. So that's the first thing. Number two is when you go and post or talk, what you do what you say has consequences, intended or unintended, and to minimize the negative consequences, always have a good intent. What value do I add to this person reading my tweet today, reading my Facebook today? So that aspect of communication on social media, we can come to it on a different day. Personal branding and saying this is who I am and posting about something that's conflicting with that value is very, it's giving you haven't done your homework, and we all know homework are you by. So at the end of the U-turn conversation today, what do you take home? What is your call to action? I will give it to you straight. Your call to action is be very intentional when you share a message. What do you want people to get out of it? What is your objective? People might get the message, they might not get the message, but you can do your best to convey the message the way you intend to convey it, right? That involves picking which words you want to pick, what kind of body language you want to project, what kind of suit you want to wear today or not. So those are all things that add up to connecting with other human beings, and the connection has an objective. The objective is very clear. This is what I want to get out of it. Kual had an objective today to teach about communication and how people can be more effective in um, building better relationship, building better personal brand, and how that can help you achieve your goals. He's a farmer. Talk to him about how he became a farmer. So mentorship doesn't always have to be too formal. One conversation can change your life. One conversation, and I intend to have it. How did you become a farmer? Because I'm trying to grow my own food, but I don't know where to start. So I will do that after the call. So if you are listening, please write in the comment what is your call to action or what do you take away. Pia kwa kanisa lweli yung balar be a call a word to the balar be one word or one phrase, and I'm gonna leave it with you. It's up to you to make the best use of this resource. Brilliant Kuol Deng gave his time on a Saturday to come and give us all his knowledge and skill on communication. What you do with that can help you, or you can walk out empty handed, and that's on you. Thank you. Thank you so much. I will pass it on to Kuol Deng.
Wow. Uh, I'm so happy today. Let me just use the word happy. Very happy to be in, just to be among these great minds. Whatever Akwal is doing, keep doing that. It's actually changing lives. Whatever Alakir is doing, keep doing that. In fact, I don't know, but I seem to like the way you are very calm and the way you drive your point home in that calm voice. And I was even thinking, like, why are you even thinking like you want to change, you want to project your voice higher? I don't know. There's no essence in that. So keep doing what you're doing. And Dorcas, I actually uh, love being here today. Yeah, everybody, I've been chatting with Dorcas for the first time when I uh, came to this U turn. There is one thing that one of my mentors actually told me: wherever you go, try to do something fast. If they ask, are you going to be the first person to do something? Yeah, just raise your hand, do it, set the tone of what is supposed to be done. And I was like, yeah, this is what I should be doing. So wherever I go, I make sure I am the first person when they ask. Okay? If they don't point at me, Paul, do this, and they just throw the question, who is doing this first? Me. And that usually comes with positive results. Number one, you get to actually set the tone of what people will talk about. So, and I love it. I love it. And I just realized it is the reason as why I'm here today. So, if anybody in that is listening to us today, if you feel like there is something you are seeing that other people are doing and you feel like you are not part of that, reach out. Just reach out and say, this is what I think I can bring and add to this conversation that you are having or the thing that you are doing. Always have that mentality of initiating. For me to end, the last thing that I can say is in the South Sudanese context, if there are other listeners that are listening, sorry because we have been mixing English and Ponja. And what I want to say is we are today in this world, we are actually trying to change what we have known before. And the only way we can be able to change that is to understand that learning is something that is very vital. Yeah, just learning is vital. Whoever that is lazy in learning, my brother and sisters, if you are lazy in learning, you can never move forward. So take that as a free advice. Make sure you learn. And learning is happening everywhere nowadays in your phone. Everybody has a smartphone. Try to learn something. Don't use your smartphone as a way of gossip, as a way of listening to content that is very harmful. Try to actually listen to something that is positive every day. If it is something to do with communication, listen. There are a lot of materials online that talks about communication. There are a lot of materials in terms of text that talks about communication. Take the initiative to learn. And always remember, communication is not something that is supposed to be perfect. No, it's something that should be present, period. It should be present. If you think you can become perfect in communication, there is this one guy that I actually love and I do follow a lot, a lot, a lot. Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins, it's a citizen for the US, and he actually does motivation, and he actually does, like, he's not just motivating, talking about things that he have not done. No, there's a difference. There are some motivational speakers that will tell you what they think you should hear, but there are some people that are actually saying what they have done. They are walking the walk, not just doing the talk. So try to find those kind of people and listen to what they say. You will learn a lot of things. And always try to make just make those falls. You fall forward, don't fall backward. You make it today, you fall. Tomorrow, you stand up and try to do something. So that's what I wanted to say. And thank you for coming here today. That is something that I actually appreciate, because it means if you are here, that means you have a different way of trying to learn and a different frequency of vibrating. They usually tell us the birds of same feather flock, do what? Flock together or fly together? Flock together, right? So
Yeah,
you being
they
here,
fly
that
together.
means we are all birds of same feathers. And the feather that we are actually identifying with is what? Improvement. That is it. So thank you for being here today. And thank you, Yutan, for hosting me, giving me the opportunity to talk about my experience, to talk about what I'm actually passionate about. So that's what I wanted to say. Thank you. And I hope to be back anytime. Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. You once a U-turn fellow, you are always a U-turn fellow. And by the way, even Iran Kuchen, actually, well, reach out to us to say, "Oh, you guys, what you are doing is great. I want to be part of the U10." And that is how our team grow. Our now we call ourselves a U10 community. Okay, it's small and okay family, but now what's your community? And it's because of what you just mentioned, bird of the same feather. We flock together. Many people who find this conversation inspiring and enriching, they join us. They reach out. They say, "Want to be part of this," and that is how we grow the movement. We call it a movement for transformation for the U-turn. That's the meaning of the U-turn. Is that 180 degrees change. That's what we need within our life and in our society. And as Salakir mentioned, it starts with one person, one thought, one idea, and the transformation unstoppable. So thank you so much. It was an honor hosting you today on this important topic of speaking with confidence, improving our communication skills so that we use it to learn or to leverage opportunities that within our network. So we have all learned really well. And we're looking forward to hosting you now to talk about the real deal agribusiness, how to do the agriculture that is not just subsistence, but agriculture that bring in money, that change lives. That is what we're going to talk about. And for people who can, we need to put it like Kipia, Kenya, Titikule, so he's doing a lot of great work there. And so in Bukutake, beginning of December, you will be here to talk about how you end up there and the impact that you are seeing and what opportunities you might need to leverage to increase your scale of agribusiness because that's the future food production indicate when Neop walks in. So the U-turn will be honored to host you and to give our people some ideas on how then to improve themselves and maybe take one or two initiatives that can agribusiness can establish. So that's the power of transformation. So thank you for your time. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Ruben Pancho. Ruben Pancho, by the way, is a U10 fellow that has given us a lot of flowers on this platform. He's always here with us. He's supporting us financially to keep this program going. So we really support your support for our ideas, your support for our vision, and your support for our community at large. And all other members, certainly here on our team, with Jugalage, everyone that has participated with us, Simon, Nalikan, we've just now happy weekend. And what about you next Saturday? What Benjam, different topic on we will talk. I don't want to leak it, but Alakir is excited about this. We will be having leadership series, the round table. We'll be talking about leadership personalities and what we can learn from one or two leaders in our countries in our global world. And so stay tuned. I don't want to leak it. Will be a new U10 conversation angle. So we'll be spotlighting guests like Kual, and then the U10 members. And Kual, you are also welcome to join if it is the topic that interests you. We just come and talk about leadership and dissecting their vision and how they executed it their lifetime and what we can learn from them, how they fail, how they succeed. So we will start it next Saturday, and we'll be alternating. So guests and then roundtable on some leadership discussion or economic situation analysis or political situation. So just to diversify the content based on the feedback that we are getting from our community. They want diversity of ideas, diversity of thoughts, diversity of experiences. So thank you, thank you. Stay tuned. We are always here on Saturday around this time. Baki Janong, good day. Bye bye. And
Bye.
thank you, my co host. You did phenomenal work. God bless.